At the moment, gonna see what we're gonna get after today. I'd like to see if we can find some rain frogs. Would be really sick. There are ghost frogs here. Should be tons and tons of nice dwarf chameleons, which will always be rad to see. Other than that, you're just gonna have a good time, and it's not raining at the moment, which is pretty unusual for George because this place always rains. So yeah, let's get after it, and I'll keep you updated what we find. So this is the first spot of today. I don't know if you can see much, it's super bright. But yeah, there's typically loads of dwarf chameleons here, so we're going to see if we can't pick up any of them. Don't know if you can see that. Just a little common dwarf gecko, just getting some sun. It has been raining here, I see, for a couple of days, so first bit of sun that comes out. Pretty much all the little lizards and stuff. We're gonna be basking. Let's see if we can't. It's quite interesting. These little dwarf geckos are not actually native to the area. They've sort of come down over the last couple of years from the north coast, sort of KwaZulu-Natal, and they've slowly integrated their way down into the Cape. They don't do a heck of a lot. They don't cause much problems. They just sort of do their thing. They're not really out competing any of the indigenous geckos that are out here during the day, because the only other gecko that is out here is the marbled leaf-tailed gecko, and they're nocturnal, so they don't really even compete with one another. Well, let's see what else we can find. So this is basically the kind of habitat we're looking in for these dwarf chameleons. They typically like these tall restio grasses. Especially now that the sun is just sort of breaking on these. Often if you look on the edges of these restios, you can sometimes see them basking. So I haven't seen too much yet besides a little gecko, but these restios, like I was saying earlier, can be really good. Just depends if you get any sort of breaking in the sun. Oh, there's a little one there. He's just obviously been there from the night before, so he's gonna wait in that sun a little bit till he can warm up, get rid of some of the dew that's sitting on him, and then he'll slowly start making his way. You can see I've spooked him a little bit, so he's trying to sort of get away. So it's just a closer look at the juvenile eyes, the dwarf chameleon. As you can see, he's pretty small and he's pretty brown and pretty grey. He doesn't look all that interesting. Hopefully we'll find a couple of big ones to show you pretty much just how nice the colours actually are. But I'm not going to mess with this guy too much. I'm just going to put him back in his restio, and then I'll come check up on him a little bit later. He might still be basking in the same little spot. So I was just getting some water at that little tap there. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted this tiny dwarf chameleon all the way on the other side of the bushes here. Let's see if we can get a good look at him. And yeah, this guy is still a juvenile, so he doesn't have the nice, again, the nice vibrant colors of the adults. But this guy's probably only a couple months old. This size, they're really common in the gardens. You see a lot of them. So I don't know if you'll be able to see these, but I just came across loads and loads of these like newly metamorphosized painted reed frogs. I mean, there's one there. There's another down there just hiding behind a piece of grass. There's another couple of them sitting just over there. There's another one there. So yeah, they're clearly just hanging out in this. I see there's another one hiding behind this grass stem. There was, he jumped away. But yeah, so they're obviously just, there must be a bit of seepage, a bit of marsh under this grass. So once they metamorphosize, they just all sort of head up onto this grass. And hopefully a couple of them make it, because most of them will just be eaten by sort of birds, some snakes and other sort of stuff. But I mean, that's pretty much the life of the frog. Just to give you some idea, I left the sort of more gardened area of the place that I'm busy herping now, and I've gone to more of the forested sections. I just need to sort of get within that tree line, and that's when we're going to start finding some cover to flip, primarily logs. There aren't too many sort of rocks or stones in this area, so logs are definitely what we're going to need. So I'm still at it here in the forest, trying to find some frogs. This is the sort of habitat we're working. Sort of like these logs that have been rolled. But I mean, there's nothing. There's a centipede, which is pretty gross. But yeah, I sort of have to dig into the soil a little bit just to find the frogs. They sort of look like little mushrooms, just with their backs poking out, but these logs are pretty dry underneath, so we're gonna have to just keep at it. So we're just back in the forest, still on the hunt for some flippable stuff that we can find some frogs under, but it's not looking too good. A lot of trash. Still gonna try to find a path though. Almost bailed there like twice. So I haven't seen a great deal, well, much at all really, besides these chameleons, but we're gonna keep at it. It's quite a nice section along this pathway with some logs and stuff like that. We always got to put the logs back. There's a scorpion, but I'm not going to bore you with that because I don't know anything about scorpions. Just put his rock back gently. Some pull bugs. See, sometimes these little holes, you can dig them into. Okay, wait, there's a frog in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's super dark. But we're just going to get him out, and this is the plain rain frog. I'm just gonna see if I can get him out, and then so just to give you a better look at this plain rain frog, once I just gave him a little rinse off with some water, they're just sort of covered in sand. They are pretty unusual. They spend most of their time underground, sort of just in these little burrows, and they only really come out when it rains, as the sort of name suggests. So right after I just released the plain rain frog, I just got this little Cape River frog. This is a really small one. They get to about sort of palm size. They can get really large. But this is just a little guy. He was just hopping his way across the forest trail here. So I'm just gonna let him go, and he can go on and do his things. Let's carry on and see what else we can get. So I'm about 50 meters away from where I got the other rain frog. I've already flipped this, even though it looks like really useless. But I've already flipped this, so I know what's under it. But let me show you guys. Hey guys, so here's another This is the third one I've seen. This one is just under a tiny little piece of wood, so it's easy to get him out, and it'll be easy to put him back. Unlike the other one that I just try to show you in the burrow, which I didn't want to dig him out. Like it's like pointless to just sort of stress them out for nothing. But yeah, you can see these guys. He's puffing up now just to sort of make himself look bigger and even sadder than he already looks, if that's even possible. But yeah, really cool frogs. Restricted to this sort of really dense forest, which makes them pretty difficult to find unless there's sort of like logs and rocks and stuff like that on the trail, like you can see. So I'm still out here trying to find some big chameleons to see if I can show you guys, and I just spotted this one. I don't know if you can see him, he's quite far away, but I see he's just caught something. He's busy sitting there eating it. Yeah, that's a pretty nice looking adult Neisner dwarf chameleon. So I just managed to get this little guy off from where he was sitting, just to show you guys a couple pictures. This is pretty much an adult male. They get a little bit bigger than this, and they're really variable. He's got really nice blues and sort of turquoise and sort of pinky colors on his casp, which is around the head there. Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful chameleons. Unfortunately, a lot of them get sort of taken. People take them home to put in their gardens and keep them as pets. So those cracks that we're looking at for those geckos, pretty much in those sort of big boulders, these horizontal rock cracks and rock flakes. But I'll check in when we see something. This is Gorgia Hewittii. It's Hewitt's leaf-toed gecko. He can just go back in his little crack. They're pretty small, as you can see next to my hand. Don't know how well you can see that, but there's the Hewitt's gecko just chilling in his rock crack with his tail sticking out, which is not a good idea if you're a gecko. Get back in there. Cool. So we're here in the Swartberg. Super windy, probably won't be able to hear it much. I've been trying to find some of these geckos that are the Rami gecko Swartbergensis. Super difficult to find, and I've pretty much spotted one in this rock crack. I'm just waiting for Rion to get here, and he's going to try help me wherever he is. And we're going to try see if we can't tickle it out this rock crack. Because yeah, it's pretty much right in there. Right, cool. So we managed to get this gecko out of this crack, which is this giant rock crack over here. And this is Rami gecko Swartbergensis. Really cool geckos, which were actually recently elevated to their own species. They used to be a part of the Afro-gecko genus. And they're restricted to the mountains in the Groot and Klein Swartberg, where we are right now. And they really live only in these deep rock cracks and rock fissures under exfoliating rocks. I don't know how well you can see, quite a small gecko, but he's got incredibly large toe pads on each of the feet, which obviously aided in climbing around in and amongst the rock cracks. You can see quite a nice example of the species where it actually has an original tail. Many of the guys that do find them often are with broken tails or regenerated tails, so quite a nice find, and a species that I haven't seen before. So really stoked to find this little guy. We're going to grab a couple of photographs and then we're just going to put it on. So here's the Rami gecko Swartbergensis, the Swartberg leaf-toed gecko that we just got some photographs of. We actually found another one, so this is the second one, and I'm just going to put it back in his little rock crack over here.